Why I gamble millions on good trades. The simple answer is because if something's more likely to work out, why wouldn't you risk more on it? Gambling, by definition, is placing a wager on an uncertain outcome. Therefore, everything in life is a gamble. You going to work tomorrow if you drive is a gamble. You placing that next trade on your terminal is a gamble. You watching this video is a gamble because you don't know what the outcome of this video is going to be. Fortunately, I'm here to tell you as a very rational, calm, overall, bald man yelling at you in a YouTube video, I can tell you that in this video, I'm going to teach you why I personally enjoy risking more on good trades so that way I can make millions. I made a couple $1,000,000 over the past 7 years of my trading journey. It's completely changed my life, and I'm going to share with you exactly why I do this very unique thing. And I'm going to start with an example. Let's pretend a random person on the street walks up to you and they got $10,000 cash and they say, listen here, I want you to bet me that it's going to rain in the next 10 minutes. And if you're right and it rains in the next 10 minutes, then I will give you this $10,000. But if you're wrong, you have to give me $10,000. You probably wouldn't make that bet. And you can't check your phone app for the weather because you don't know if it's going to rain within the next 10 minutes. That's kind of a quirky bet to make, especially for 10 grand, which even for me, folks, that's a lot of money. 10,000 US dollars is pretty insane. However, let's say the same person comes up to you and says, listen here. Let's say your name's Emmanuel. Emmanuel, listen here. Bet me that within the next 1 month, it will rain at least once. And if you're right, I will give you $100,000. But if you're wrong, and if it somehow doesn't rain at all in the next 1 month, then you have to give me $100,000. Now, if you're in an area where it rains on average 5 to 10 days out of the month, you're going to have no problem making that bet. I would make that bet every single month until that guy went broke from having to pay me 100 grand over and over. Here in Texas, it rains maybe 5-10 days out of the month, depending on the season. It's a pretty safe bet. Therefore, you're more comfortable risking more, even if you don't have $100,000, because what's the likelihood you lose? Go get a loan for 100 grand, pay the guy, and then bet him again next month, make it all back. And then overall, you know, you're going to make money long term. This is why I make more money than I lose in trading. Whenever I'm wrong, I lose some money. It is what it is. It's kind of sad. But it's not that big of a deal because when I make money, it's amazing. I get win streaks that go and go and go and go and go. And I make like 50 grand in a month. And then I look over at the next month and I've lost like 5 grand. And I'm like, ugh, big deal. That is the reason that I risk more on good trading outcomes. And I'm going to show you firsthand here in this video examples of me actually doing this and show you practical information on how you can literally do this. It just simply involves risking more on good trades. That's the practical information. You can feel free to leave the video now if you have the attention span of a squirrel. And if not, if you're a real one and you would like to stay here for the long haul, my friend, I will literally show you step by step. Let's look at a trade that I just closed last week on Euro USD. Very simple explanation of my trading approach is I buy and sell at major support resistance zones. If I'm right, I take profit. I try to get at least a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio from what I risked. And if I'm wrong, I hedge. And then I just wait till price gets to the next zone. Then I manage the hedge and roll out of it. It allows me to profit even when I'm wrong. And I completely F up trades. It allows me to still make money. And this is exactly how. So here's what I did on Euro USD. Price came to this zone right here, so I entered sells. It started to bounce away. So I added another sell, and I was in a short position here because this was working out. Now, we immediately reversed the other way. So when price broke above this zone, all I didn't freak out, didn't stop out, didn't anything. I just entered 3 buys for 0.75 lots. So price ran up here to the next zone. When I got up here to the next zone, I entered these sell positions as it was doing this. So price went here. I sold whenever it got to this next zone, and then I closed my profitable buy positions. So the idea would be if price comes back to here, then I'm in profit net on all the sells. Now, price broke up further through this zone again, and I thought it was going to keep going up, so I ended up hedging. This right here, it only shows 1, but that's actually 3.75 lot positions. So it hedged my positions from up here. Then whenever it came back down, held on to the hedge, so these positions and these positions were all hedged, and then I added these 3 sell positions right here as it started to come back down. And here was the outcome. All right, here's what the current situation is. I made profit on the 3 buy hedges going up here to the next zone. Very nice. And then I made profit on these 3 sells coming down here to this zone. That's the exact moment I closed it. So now I've made profit going up and I've made profit going down. And I still have these sells down here all open, and I still have these 3 buys up here open. And guess how I'm going to roll out of them next week? If this hush puppy comes here into this zone, all I'm going to do is I'm going to close these sells around break even. I'll have to take a little bit of a loss on that one. And then I'm going to add some buys right here. And then if it does bounce at this zone, it'll come back up probably somewhere around these highs at this zone. And then I can close these buys up here and these buys down here, all in a net profit or around a break even. This may seem complicated, but all it is just buying and selling at support and resistance respectively, and then hedging if you're wrong and adding to good trades if you're right. I have made more on this outcome than I'm ever going to lose from it, because even if I closed everything right now as it sits, the hedges, I am going to be net profitable. If you don't believe me, let's actually go. I actually share all my trades in Telegram, and y'all can literally click the first link in the description after this video, and you can go and follow these trades for free every damn day. Here's a literal screen recording of me doing this, and I'm going to show you. It's my screen recording. This is all the open trades. I'm in the open hedges. There's the EU trades that I closed right there. So I closed those. That was like $700 profit. Here's the all the previous trades. In fact, here's the whole trading history on this account for the week. So literally, you look at almost every trade. I make money even when I'm wrong, essentially, because I just wait until price bounces at a zone, and when it finally bounces, I end up doing pretty good for myself. Those are the EU buys going up. You can see those buy hedges right there. Made like however much that is, like almost $500. This is the sells going back down. And then so even if I close everything on the remaining positions, I would still be in a net profit. Now, if you think I'm losing you, let me give you something real simple that you can do. And I'll show you right here, and I'll use another simple example on a pair that we did last week, which was a GBP Canadian dollar. I'm going to show you how I managed this trade. So we started off GBP Canadian dollar, and this is exactly what we did. Price came here to this support and resistance zone. And so, as luck would have it, having a ridiculously simple trading system, I sold at this resistance. Okay? Enter to sell right here. Now, the next zone was up here. So if it doesn't bounce at the first zone, price might bounce at the next zone. It's a 50-50 chance. That's it. It's just statistics. If you're getting less than a 50-50 win rate, you really suck at trading, because 50-50 is just random chance. I myself suck at trading. I've been doing this 7 years. I still don't know where the fuck the market's going to go. The only reason I make money is because I make a little bit more on the winners than I lose on the losers, and that is it. I keep a really simple trading system. I have a really rigid risk structure in which I use hedging, dollar cost averaging to profit from outcomes even when I'm wrong. And this is exactly how. I sold right here and price broke above the zone. So what did I do as soon as it broke above the zone? Well, I just hedged. I entered an equal and opposite buy position. I don't remember what the lot size was. Let's just say it's one standard lot. When it broke above, I added a buy. And in fact, you could literally go and check and see for yourself whatever these lot sizes were. You can literally just scroll through my terminal history. I share everything, full transparency. I've been running this free Telegram channel for like 5 years. It's really valuable. You should probably join it as soon as you leave this video. Click that first link in the description, and you'll be able to go and just follow all my trades on a daily basis. But the lot sizes in here were okay. So one standard lots. So a bunch of different one standard lots. 2 of them right there. So what it is one standard lot. It broke above. I hedged for one standard lot. So when price goes to the next zone, well, it's very simple. I close the hedge and profit right there, and that buy makes money. Then I add a sell, and then when price came back here to the next zone, I just closed the sell and profit, and then I closed the first sell at break even. And now, even though I was completely wrong, my first sell ended up being break even. The hedge buy that I take when it broke the zone ended up being a profit, and the second sell that I took at the next zone ended up being a profit. So I had 2 profitable trades and 1 break even, and I was completely effing wrong about the trading outcome. Now, you may ask, Nick, whenever you close that buy there at that next zone, you are adding a sell there at the next zone. So doesn't this increase the risk? Gold sticker for you. You got it. It does increase the risk. That is 100% correct. But here's the thing. If price didn't bounce at the first zone, and then it goes to the second zone, the third zone, the fourth zone, the statistics are 50-50. Eventually, price is going to bounce somewhere. 95% of the time. Every now and then I get myself into what we would call a little bit of a pickle, because I start getting back-to-back invalidations, hedges, having to take a little bit of small losses and roll out of them over time. But overall, prices pretty consistently bounces about 50% of the time. If you get yourself into a huge trending movement, I just stay hedged until we get to a zone where price starts to pause. Then I roll out of it. It's really not that big of a deal, because for me personally, 90 to 95% of the time, price bounces at a zone. So when price comes up here to this next super clear, super sexy, super amazing, I'll stop touching my microphone like that. It gets to the super sexy next zone. I'm cool with doubling and even tripling the risk. If this first risk right here from here to here was like $500, for example, that second risk right here from here to here will be about another $500. So you've got a $500 risk on that trade. And then you've got the additional $100 open loss that occurred right there. And then if this trade, if it continues going up there, not only does that $100 loss, also the $500 loss, it gets compounded to the $1,000 of loss. So we're essentially going from 1 unit of risk from having this sell here, the buy stop above, to having triple the risk if price comes to that next zone. But guess what? If price is really likely to bounce right there, and you know it's literally half the time it's going to do that, every time it doesn't bounce at one zone, the statistics is that the next zone is really likely to bounce. Now, not always, okay? Price can get into 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 or more back-to-back invalidations where it just slaps through all the zones. You might be drawing your zones like shit, and that could be a portion of it. But overall, if you're using major zones in the daily 4-hour, even the 1 hour, if you kind of zoom out, it's sort of the same thing. You will have roughly 50% of the time price will bounce. And those statistics are beautiful. It's going to make me touch my microphone again in a very sexual way. And the reason it's beautiful is because it allows you to add more risk where price is very likely to bounce. Price gets to a major resistance level when everyone gets screwed and it breaks above. You get a bunch of people stop out, a bunch of pending buy orders get filled, stop loss orders get filled. Everybody's getting boned really hard with sand and no lube. Absolutely terrible. Moment of silence for those people who lose it. But price goes to the next zone. There's a lot of juicy sell orders sitting up there. Pending sell orders. Pending take profit orders for all the buyers taking the breakout move up to that next zone. And then a lot of orders of people who are like, hey, if price rejects here, then I'll get in. So then you get the initial bounce. Then you get more people pile into the trade. That is why I go what some would call balls deep into the good trading opportunities. That is how I have made millions the past 7 years. Is putting my money where my mouth is. You can see it. I've called my trades for 5 years in the Telegram channel. Go look at it. I literally share everything, full transparency, brokerage statements, P&L, terminal history, live trades in my MFX close friends group. It's a paid product, but you don't need it to learn how I trade. I share literally everything. It works, and it works so ungodly well. Like in the past 17 months, I have had 1 down month and 1 break-even month. I literally make profit even when I'm wrong. I've made over $850,000 in the past little over a year. And then the 1 month that I lost money, I lost like 20K. Give 20K back. April of 2023. Time of this video, it's about like a month and a half ago, like about a month ago. That's it. Gave back 20K. Big deal. That's how little I lose when I'm wrong. But when I'm right, I get on these crazy win streaks. One of my accounts last year, I made a video in October of 2022. I grew a 50K account to 100K in 3 weeks. Just because literally almost every trade I entered, it would bounce at the zone. At the first zone, I had like a 70% win rate just off the bat, which was crazy because it's normally 50-50 because I kind of suck at trading. But even that, it was crazy. Everything bounced. Then if it didn't bounce to the first zone, 90% of the time after that, if you add to the statistics and the risk, 90% of the time it bounces to the second zone. So I'd get out. And even on the ones where I would lose 3 zones in a row, I had so many winners that if I would just get invalidated 3 times and price just broke straight through 3 zones, oftentimes I would just stay hedged or just close everything at a loss and say, you know what, fuck it. I had this other huge winner over here. Even this trade that got severely screwed, it got royally boned, I would still make money. It was crazy. It's crazy how well it works. This is one example on GBP Canadian dollar. And this thing ended up just tanking. We also took another sell because after this was closed down here, price broke back above, tested this zone, pushed up. Could have caught a buy here, but I was actually asleep because this happened during London session. If you look at the time on the bottom, that was like 2 a.m. I'm sleeping at that time, but that could have been a good trade. And then we sold again up here whenever price got to that zone. I mean, like I share literally all this stuff. This is the close friends group that I have. It's a monthly membership where people just get to watch me trade live. And I share literally everything I'm doing. Terminals, screenshot updates, live trades. I show exactly what I'm doing. This is where I got hedged on EU yesterday. I shared the terminal, the P&L, so that way you can see every single trade I'm in. Literally share it all live. And not only that, But we have a very impressive portion of this group where you can literally ask me anything. If you join this product, Mission FX Close Friends is the name of it. Second link in the description takes you to my website, and from there you can then select this product and get a little bit more information should you choose to potentially become a customer. But even if you don't, I'll show you how it works. You can literally ask me anything in here. There's people who ask me questions. I respond to every single question. We make a lot of cuckold jokes, and we talk about Sparta a lot and start yelling about how crazy we are as warriors going out here and like defeating the market most of the time, 90% of the time. We have a couple little rough patches here and there. But that being said, this is how I risk way more on the good trades than I lose than the amount of risk that I risk on the little shitty trades, essentially. If you are very sure about an outcome, for example, I am what some would call, I'm not saying I call it this, but some call it balls deep. And I don't really know what that means. So, but I am balls deep on this trade, AED Canadian dollar. Why? Let me show you what happened here, and I'll show you the terminal afterwards. You can literally see this that way. I'm not full of shit. Literally show everything live. Price came up to this zone, all right? Really likely to bounce at a major resistance zone. How do we know it's a major resistance zone? Fuck's sake, look at it. It's bounced there like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Had a big, huge bounces off it every time. Like, it's that obvious, right? That's all. I drew a little stupid gray rectangle here on the chart. I had an alert there, and when it got there, I hit the sell button. That's it. If it's wrong, it breaks above, I lose some money, I get hedged, I wait for the next zone. And even if that doesn't work, it goes here to the next zone. We'll wait for it to get up somewhere up here into one of these zones, and then we'll just manage it there. Close the buy, add a sell. Eventually, when it bounces, I make money. I'm not worried about it. Whenever I'm quote-unquote wrong or quote-unquote in a loss, like a hedged loss, it doesn't fucking matter. It's not a big deal because it's going to bounce somewhere. So it prevents this impatience and this paranoia and anxiety and freaking out about like, holy shit, what's going to happen? I've taken a losing streak. It doesn't matter because you're probably going to roll out of it in a profit anyway. So you can go and smoke a cigar on your rooftop balcony and it's not a big deal. If you don't have a rooftop balcony, it's cool. You can come over to mine sometime maybe and smoke a cigar or something. So right here, I entered a sell here at this zone. And we'll illustrate that with a super high production quality red sideways horizontal line. And then when price pushed up further into the zone, I was like, this is a better entry at the tip top of where all the highs were rejecting. So if we drag this up to here, super, super good entry. So I was like, all right, if I'm wrong about that second entry, it's just going to go a little ways into drawdown and then I'll just close it. Big deal. It's not a big loss. But if this works out, like let's say this was like a $250 risk, right? The first one was a $500 risk. If this one, I'm only really risking $250, and that's 9 pips. What if it wins and goes all the way down here? That's 50 pips. That's $1,250 of profit. But not only that, folks, because your boy went even further. I added a third sell position as it started breaking down and like had all this rejection. We had bear candles close and price breaks down. So I'm in 3 short positions on this pair right now, and here's the actual terminal. Let's go in and have a nice little look at this. This was the EU stuff I shared here in the free Telegram channel. Here was the analysis I shared. That's Euro US dollar. I'm really, really trying to find it out here. All right, sweet. Let me see. This is where I called AED CAD. All right, sweet. So you'll see that I shared AED CAD before it was getting up to here into this zone. This is the analysis I sent out. And then now when price actually got to that zone, you can see I called this out the next morning in here. This is June 2nd, 5 a.m. This is 5. This is a lot of shit. This is a lot of bullshit. Yeah, this is the night before at 8:49 p.m. This is the next day at 5:20 a.m. I literally share all my analysis here in this free Telegram channel. Again, after this video, you need to click the first link in the description. Join it. It's a no-brainer. There are 48,615 members in this free Telegram channel that I have been running for 5 years, and there is a reason that many people are in it. And I have maybe like 7,000 to 10,000 daily active viewership, which is like, that's a good 20% of people who are in here viewing it. Some people get bored, they run away, they do some other crazy shit, market maker liquidity stuff, and they don't want to keep things simple like I do. That's perfectly fine. If you want to keep things simple and you have half a brain, this is a no-brainer. You literally don't even have to have half a brain. You don't have to have a brain at all. You just have to join. It's free. You have nothing to lose. All right, so this is when I shared the AED CAD was at the zone. Let me show you where I actually entered it. Let me show you all my positions here in the where I called this out to clients in the close friends group. All my specific trades and everything, I call it to clients. Here are my positions, just like I showed you. This is on the 4-hour, albeit. Price came up, I sold, it went a little bit higher, I sold again. Then when it started rejecting and going down, I sold again. Where is this shit at right now? This shit is in some nice, juicy, tempting, very, very raunchy profit. Here's all of them up here. Some of these, like you'll see, like some of my best entries up here, that's $500 profit. That's already a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. because the risk was like, what, 10 pips if it broke, lose 250. Now this shit is probably going to end up being, if it does go to the final target, another $750 to target, $1,250. And I'm compounding this account just like I've done over and over and over, like 6 times in a row. I'm taking this account right now, it's at 25,000. I'm growing it to I'm growing this to $100,000. You're going to see $75,000 in profits made with a 95% likelihood of it actually occurring over the next month or 2 or 3 or however long it takes. I don't set a time limit. And that is me balls deep in AUD CAD. And that is me adding to a trade and going crazy deep into a trade that I think is very likely to work. I put my money where my mouth is and I step in. I go in when I think it's actually going to bounce. Here's all my terminals. That's where it was at as of market close on yesterday, Friday. Yeah, that's where it was at. I mean, it's going good. So that's that. I think I've made my point here in this video. I'll stop the screen share. We're going to bring it in, just you and me and my face here with this very bright, high production quality lighting setup here. Making $3 million over the past 5 profitable years of trading has allowed me to get this really nice microphone, a $5,000 camera that I have linked to Zoom over here so that we could do super high production quality Zoom calls with clients, and this big blinding bright light in here. And we're going to bring it in and I'll touch the microphone in a non-sexual way. And I'm going to tell you something. All you have to do in trading, my personal opinion, is to keep things simple and control risk. If you keep things simple, you have a predictable, consistent thing to do every time. What do? I draw a resistance zone and I draw a support zone. And I sell at resistance and I buy at support. And that's it. Do you wait for rejection, Nick? No. Do you wait for the institutional liquidity candle that the smart money concept banks are trading at? No. Do you use the moving average and the Fibonacci reversal to the middle line of the Gann fan during a trending direction at New York session? Fuck no. I buy at support and I sell at resistance. Sue me. That is literally all I do for the most part. Obviously, a little bit of context, a little bit of nuance, a little bit of experience all comes into play to kind of help me decide I don't think it's going to bounce at that support, so I won't take that trade. Obviously, all that comes into perspective. But the overall system is just like buy at support, sell at resistance. If you have a simple system, it doesn't matter what system you use. Everything works. I just think support resistance is the most easiest way of controlling risk because it gives you a very clear area to say, I will enter here, and if it goes here, I will do something to manage the trade, a stop loss, a hedge, a dollar cost average. Or if it goes from here down into profit, then I will close in profit. With the statistics on your side and a risk management structure that works really well, for example, my hedging system, I teach this in my compounding course. It's another product I have. That second link in the description of this video, you can learn all about that. I have 3 products that I sell. It's all on my website below. You can see it. But I teach this in my compounding course, my entire risk structure for hedging. Hedging is the thing that has allowed me to not only transition from being pretty profitable overall to massively ridiculously profitable while still sucking at trading. I'm a complete effing idiot. And I can't do many things very well, but I can trade decently and I can yell at you here in a YouTube video. So with that being said, I'll let you go. I'm not going to ask you to like and comment or subscribe. I don't give a shit. If this video helped you, that's great. Maybe you could check out some of my others. They're all the same sort of style, super high production quality Zoom session thing on the computer, yelling into a really nice microphone, looking into a semi-decent camera with really bright light shining in my face. If you're into that if you're into that kind of stuff, you'll love my channel. I keep it real. I keep it raw. I just tell it how it is. It is what it is. It's pretty straightforward. I'm just a person like you who has learned a skill set like trading, and I'm just trying to share it because I have fun and I also make some money doing it. It's like a win-win for me and you and the IRS. They take a lot of my money in taxes. So, all right. Have a great rest of the day. See you later. Bye.